Hello and welcome. This is the first official episode of the Soulful Business Show. And I could not be more thrilled or more excited to be here with you today. We are making some powerful shifts in the branding and the messaging just so everything feels more in alignment for me. And I am so glad and excited to start peppering this stuff out into the world, into our community, so that we can serve our amazing heart-centered women in bigger and better and more powerful, and what I feel like is more deeply effective ways. So today, to kick things off, I really wanted to address a topic that I see come up again and again in the beautiful women that I work with, both inside my Success Made Simple Accelerator, my more introductory level, and even inside my Uplifted Mastermind for more established women in business. And it's this feeling of not enoughness, this feeling that we aren't smart enough, prepared enough, gifted enough, unique enough, young enough, old enough, whatever it is, that we are not enough as is, that we are not whole, we're not complete, that we have to earn and prove and achieve in order to create that wholeness for ourselves. And so I want to break that down today. I want to get right into it. I'm going to share 3 ways that you can begin to let go of that feeling of not enoughness. If this is something that you are encountering or have encountered in the past, or if it's something that kind of circles back to you. I know that's sort of my feeling. I'll get to a place where I'm vibing really high and feeling really good, and then something will come in that surprises me or challenges me, and then it can bring up the feeling of not enoughness. So before we get into that, I want to first explain what I mean by soulful business, the name of the show, the soon-to-be name of the podcast, and we're going to be revealing all of this in the coming weeks, and we have some amazing new offers that are going to be rolling out too, free things that can really support you. But the reason I wanted to call it the Soulful Business Show is because what I have been trying to do since day one of being an entrepreneur back when I was honestly, my entrepreneurial journey began when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, but I officially embraced it after college. And all along the way, I realize now, especially, 14 years after that, looking back, that this was a quest of self-discovery, a quest for aligning with my purpose, tapping into that sort of sacred spark within me and figuring out a way to deliver that to the world. And so that is the work that I've been doing. I've been doing with women for years now, but I'm finding the language to describe it more adeptly and a way that it feels truer, a more authentic extension of the work that I do. And so soulful business to me is a business that is an extension of your soul's purpose, of your dharma, if you want to use a yoga word, which I love because I have a background in yoga. And so this show and the interviews and the information that I'm going to be sharing is, in my intention for it at the very least, is to give you a pathway back to your soul, back to that deep inner knowing of truth within you, so we can remove all of the negativity and the storylines and the baggage and the stuff that isn't ours, that we've been carrying around because someone somewhere told us along the way that it was a good idea or not a good idea, rather than listening to the truth within us. And so that's what I'm excited about. That's what I'm drawn towards. It's what I have been doing on a personal level for decades. It's what I've been doing on a professional level for over a decade. And it's what I want to more clearly bring into my work, my content, and my community moving forward. And so if you're on board for that, if you have a soulful business, want to create a soulful business, if you want to do work that serves others and is meaningful to you and creates abundance in every sense of the word, here is where it's at, the Soulful Business Show. Woo! Okay, so let's talk about 3 ways. And I also love balancing the spiritual, the soulful, the energetic, and the practical. I love giving tips and strategies, but they have to be rooted in something bigger and something deeper. And so now that we've had some conversation about that, I want to go back to these ways that you can begin to let go of that feeling of not enoughness if you had it in your business. I mean, I'll be giving business examples, but this can really apply to any aspect of your life, your relationship with your partner, your parenting, your health, your body, any of that. So the first thing you want to do, step number 1, is to notice. Become aware of the things that you say to yourself again and again and again. And if it's mostly negative, which for a lot of us it is, we're just wired with a negativity bias. It used to protect us when we needed to be aware of all the dangers of the world around us. But now, we're getting all stressed out because of emails and social media. We don't have to allow that to affect us so heavily. So I want you to look closely at what you are saying to yourself. It might even be helpful to make some notes, either open a notes app on your phone and jot it down when you notice, when you become aware of what you're saying to yourself, or write it down in a physical journal. And this is really powerful. The moment you breathe a little bit of separation between that negative thought, that negative story, and you, the witness of it, you begin to detach from it so heavily. So this isn't about, oh my God, there's that thought again, and beating yourself up. No, it's just about being a neutral or even a compassionate witness to, oh my goodness, there's that thought again that it's so hard to find clients. What's that all about? All right, that's not serving me. I'm going to just let it roll on through and focus on something else, or reframe it if that's helpful to you. Another thing that you could try that I absolutely love, I learned this technique from Tosha Silver in her book, Outrageous Openness. That's what it's called, Outrageous Openness. And it's all about living in harmony with the divine, with the energy of source, which I love. And what she suggests is that anytime we are encountering a belief of, oh my God, it's going to be so challenging to get clients, it's so hard to get clients, that you tag on the end of it without God or without faith or without leaning on universal support. Because anytime you find yourself feeling like this is impossible for me, it means that you've completely closed yourself off from the potential support from something beyond you. When you're saying, oh, this is so hard for me, this is so challenging, I can't make this happen, you're putting all the pressure on you, this finite being in a human experience, to figure this out. When you say, oh, this is so challenging to find clients, without the universe, without God, without whatever that name is for you, you begin to remember, oh, there's something bigger than me that can support me. I don't have to carry this load so heavily by myself. So that's just a real practical, fun thing you can try. It might help, reframe some of those negative thoughts, negative stories. So number 1 is notice. Number 2 is release. Give yourself permission to write a new story. Just because you've been telling a story for a long time doesn't mean it's true. I'm sure when you were a child, there were things that you believed, maybe in Santa Claus or unicorns or whatever. Maybe some of you still believe unicorns and Santa Claus are real, which is awesome. But there were probably storylines that you now as an adult believe or recognize are untrue that you believed, and you just released it. You moved on. And maybe there was a little bit of pain, maybe there was a little bit of upset, but you grew beyond that belief. You have that option and that opportunity now. You can ask yourself, is this belief ultimately true? Is it ultimately true that I will never find a client? Is it ultimately true that I will never be successful doing this work? Is it ultimately true that I can't charge more than $100 or $500 or $5,000 or whatever the cap is you put on yourself? And of course not. There is no doctrine anywhere that says you are only allocated this certain amount of money, client success, happiness, joy, abundance, nothing like that. It is all open to you. The question is, are you allowing it in? Are you open to receiving it? And so ask yourself, what is truer? Look for examples in your own life when you have created something miraculous. Look for examples around you. I mean, is it really true that it's impossible to get clients? I'm sure you can find lots of examples around you of people who are doing that, or at least seeming to do that. So clearly it is possible, but their beliefs are likely different than yours. So start to notice, what are their beliefs? What are the things they're saying? And maybe that can help you to transition. I think it's really powerful as you're releasing to look for those examples, because if we are constantly just looking at what we think is possible in our own brains, we're not leaving the door open for opportunities, for miraculous circumstances and synchronicities to arrive for us. And so really just feel into, and maybe you don't have an example in your life that someone has done what you're thinking about, but just ask yourself, would I think it's possible for someone similar to me with a similar circumstances and background and knowledge and whatever to do this thing, to get this client, to make this amount of money, to whatever it is that you feel blocked from achieving? Just move it to someone else, some avatar. Would it be possible for them? And maybe you're thinking, no, it wouldn't. Okay, and so there's a bigger storyline there that you're blocking yourself from, but it doesn't mean it's true. It's still just another fake story. And so notice at what level you give yourself permission to believe in the expansive story rather than the restrictive story, because that's the energy you need to lean into. Okay, so that was about releasing, noticing the belief, releasing the belief. And then the last step in this path to embracing your enoughness is embrace. Choose new thoughts, choose new stories, and make sure that the new things you're choosing make you feel better. That's the real easy way to test. Does this belief make me feel better? And truly feel better. If you're saying like, I'm a multimillionaire, does that really resonate right now? Maybe it does, and that's amazing. But if you're like, but that's not true, then that's not the right belief. Maybe it's, I am doing my very best to make this work. I am showing up every day. I am a powerful creator. This is possible for me. This gets to work for me. I think it's working a little better each day. Start with a more neutral vibe before you quantum leap to like, I'm the most successful person on the planet. Those super big affirmations can sometimes feel very inauthentic and actually don't feel good. We think we should be saying them because we think that's like the right thing to be thinking. But if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't light you up and you're like, yeah, like, that feels good, then don't go there. So start really like, I'm okay. Things are okay. My life is okay. I'm pretty good. My life is pretty good. Things are pretty good. Life is really good. I'm pretty amazing right now. Like, I'm really vibing with this. I'm really getting it. You can ladder your way up to those more high vibe beliefs, but start where you're at, or start one step above where you're at, right? That's where we want to start vibing. Okay, I want to check my notes, make sure I said everything I wanted to say. I think I did. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me for this first official unveiling of the Soulful Business Show. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation all about embracing your enoughness. And just as a quick reminder, the 3 things that we covered were notice those limiting beliefs. Number 2, release them, do what you can to move beyond them. And number 3, embrace new beliefs, new, better, more expansive beliefs. Let the restrictive beliefs go rather, so you can step into your fullness, into your enoughness, and live it every single day. Thank you so much for joining me. If you would like Soulful Business love notes from me right to your inbox every single week, you can sign up for my list at kaylanasher.com. When you do, right now, you will receive a copy of my 3-day workweek schedule, which is really a great starting point if you are looking to create an aligned business that honors your time, your lifestyle, and your family. So sign up today. You'll get those love notes from me. And we've got so many good things in the works. You're going to want to be on my list so that you are first in line when we roll out our amazing suite of new freebies and support for women who want to create their own soulful business. All right, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me.